Obviously, it's a little more difficult being a student athlete with the travel, the practice. You kind of have to manage your time a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, the only time you can really have a social life is Saturday night after the game. But at the same time, I'm getting at a good degree, and I'm trying to, focus on that as well and kind of have like a plan A and another plan A. If football doesn't work out, I get hurt, I don't do well enough, I want to get a job and live a successful life that way or play in the NFL.
Everyone who plays this game, their goal is to be a professional baseball player, and mine wasn't any different. Being that student athlete, having to wake up, go to class. After class, you're coming straight to practice. Practice, lift, study hall, get to sleep, and then you're doing it all the next day. Growing up in Harrisonburg, playing at Turner Ashby High School, small town atmosphere, everyone knows you, and then taking that and having the opportunity to play at Coastal Carolina. For the baseball program down there, it's definitely a different type of atmosphere. The opportunity to play on national television and play in SEC, ACC ballparks in front of thousands of fans. That was something special to me, but it definitely it took some time to kind of get used to and kind of embrace that.
It's a weird feeling because in practice, our coaches will put just crowd noise on the background sometimes, really loud, so you can't really hear. But it's so different in a game because you can't hear anything.
Jump ball for Stapleton.
It's like you don't need to hear it. It's kind of like you are so focused, but just in the national championship, for example, you really couldn't hear anything, and it was but it didn't really matter. You were so focused and the adrenaline was pumping that, it was really, like I said before, kind of an out-of-body experience.
Whenever I stepped between the lines, it was, I kind of blocked out all those external factors. Sure, is it different when you show up and you look, at a huge stadium where, you see thousands of fans in the stands, but once you step between the lines and that first pitch is thrown, it's just another game. And I think as a player, that's kind of how you have to approach it, because if you let all those external factors creep into your preparation or the way you play the game, it's gonna hold you back from playing at your best.
Really, I knew I could play, but I didn't know how well I could play. No one really knew how I could play because I didn't really do much throughout the regular season. Then come playoffs, we had a couple of injuries at wideout, so I needed to step up and was fortunate enough to make some plays. But the transition was, I knew I had the capability to do that, but for it to actually happen, it felt good to be able to contribute. And the game itself was, the funnest time I've ever had playing football. Playing against the best team in the country at this level, with all the fans, because North Dakota State and JMU have the best fan bases, so the place was packed, and just competing. It was a close game the whole time, and for me to be able to have an impact in the game like I did, it was the funnest I've ever had and the best experience of my life leading up to the very end of the game.
Shore heaves it toward the end zone. It's a jump ball, batted around and incomplete. And North Dakota State has done it.
Just, from my family and people that I knew, they were all positive words of encouragement just by making the game and having a chance to win the game. But the fan base was just as loyal after the game. It's not like they were, trash talking like the players for, not winning the game. They're very supportive and talking about coming back next year, and just all positive words of encouragement to help us get over it and get back out there. I've worked harder than ever before this offseason just because it's, kind of angered me, obviously. And so it gave a different perspective. But the national championship game, that was, by far the greatest football moment I've ever had.
Everyone who plays this game, their goal is to be a professional baseball player, and mine wasn't any different. You know, my junior year, I got an opportunity to get drafted. Had some adversity my junior year. Didn't play the best that I could. And ended up coming back for my senior year. Ended up playing better. Didn't get the opportunity to get drafted. Fortunately, I was able to go play some independent ball in Lake Erie, in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, and that was a experience that I'll never forget. Didn't get drafted that senior year. You know, had a little chip on my shoulder, so go play some independent ball and, you know, kind of see where the cards fall after that. And then, you know, I got an opportunity to play with the Arizona Diamondbacks in their organization for a year. Another great experience. You know, I think, you know, those types of experiences have allowed me to become a better coach. Things obviously didn't work out. I didn't make it to the major leagues, but, you know, I don't regret, you know, going through that adversity while I was in college, because that's kind of shaped who I am now as a coach. And, you know, I'm very fortunate for that.
Well, I mean, depending on like how well I do, like the next 2 seasons here, if I have an opportunity to, you know, try out and, you know, try out for an NFL team, like that's been my goal since I was in 3rd grade when I started playing football. So, you know, if you're a really good player, you know, there's been guys that make it to the NFL from the Division III level, Division II level. So, being at the FCS level, you have to really dominate. But there's been guys from JMU that are still in the NFL and have played in the NFL. It motivates myself and the rest of my team. And, you know, it's definitely not an impossible feat, but something that, you know, we can strive for.
I think they all have the dream of playing at the next level. You know, that's not always going to happen, but when that doubt starts to creep in your mind, I think it takes away from what you do on the field. So I think, you know, every day you step on that field, you should be giving your 100%. If you're not willing to give 100%, I don't know why you're doing it. You know, and I think that's with anything in life. You know, you only have so long to play this game. So every day you're able to play, you should be giving your 100%.
You know, you're going to have aches and pains as, you know, an old person, whether you play sports or not, maybe a little bit earlier if you play football for a long time. I am putting a lot in and, you know, sacrificing my body like all my other teammates are, but to me that's totally worth it, and I love what I do. But it worries me a little bit when I really think about it, mostly like the concussion type stuff, but you know, I play receiver. It's usually the guys that are in the trenches, like the offensive and defensive linemen, they get the CTE, stuff like that. But I try not to think about it too much. But at the same time, you know, I'm getting it a good degree, and I'm trying to, you know, focus on that as well and kind of have like a plan A and another plan A. So if football doesn't work out, I get hurt, I don't do well enough, you know, I want to get a job and live a successful life that way, or play in the NFL.
Not everyone's going to make it. Not everyone's going to play at the next level. But, you know, face that when you're told that your career's over. You know, I knew at some point I would need my degree. And I think that was the big one of the big factors in my junior year when I got drafted, not signing and coming back my senior year. Because that degree is important. I knew I was going to need it at some point, and you know, that was one of the factors that led into me coming back for my senior year. When I got the call from the Diamondbacks and their player development guy said, "Hey, you know, we appreciate everything you did for our organization, but we're going to have to move in a different direction." You know, not that I saw it coming, but based off the year that I had, I realized it's a business, and I didn't have a good year. You know, I was provided the opportunity to go and see what I could do, and you know, I couldn't thank them enough for that opportunity, because it's given me experiences to learn and grow from, and all I wanted was my opportunity to play professional baseball and see how far that could take me. I got that opportunity. I felt like I gave it my all. I didn't perform. And if you don't perform at that level, you know, they're moving on. They have to win, you know, that's the way it is. And I understand it as a business, and I got my opportunity. I didn't perform to what was their expectation, and that's fine. I understand that, but I was also excited to get my coaching career underway as well. It's something that I had wanted to do since I was in college. The coaches I had were great mentors to me, and they kind of led me along the path of this is something that I may want to do when I'm done playing. I was fortunate enough when I got released to get on at East Tennessee State as the volunteer assistant there. And that was during a time of the year that, there's not many jobs that are open. So I was, again, very, very fortunate to get on with Coach Skoll and his staff at East Tennessee State. And I was there for about 6 months, and then that's what led me to getting the job here at JMU. It's just learning how to handle the academics, the baseball, and the social life all at the same time. I think, a lot of guys get caught up in the wrong things. I wouldn't say a lot, but some guys get caught up in the wrong things, and I think that hurts them. And I think as a coach now, that, and you try to keep it structured for them and allow them a successful path, and as far as helping them manage their time and making sure they're doing the right things. I think, one day I would like to be a head coach. Obviously, if I had a chance to go back to my alma mater at Coastal, I'd love to do that. But, I just think that you got to take one day at a time. You can't, obviously, you have these goals and aspirations, but, you got to take one day at a time because you never know what the next step's going to be, and got to, just continue to take those small steps to kind of lead you where you want to go.